And we appear to have another question from Ms Mazalevskis.
Oh, did say it. Chair, since 2016, ASIC has taken 11 civil actions against ANZ, most recently the $240 million penalty for serious misconduct. You only left Optus, a subsidiary of Singtel, in August this year, towards the end of Optus, I'm sure, August I think it was. While you were chair at Optus, a major systems failure in November 23 left around 10 million customers without phone or internet services, including 2,100 people unable to make 000 emergency calls. Australians were assured it would not happen again, yet subsequent outages did occur. The Bean Review made 18 recommendations and Optus declined to clearly confirm which had been implemented, instead promising its own independent review. Across both ANZ and Optus, we see repeated failures in systems, controls, transparency and customer protection while you have been chair of both companies. My questions are, how can customers and shareholders be expected to trust assurances of accountability and culture change when leadership remains unchanged? And do you accept that remaining in your role under these circumstances undermines public trust and falls short of the standards ANZ's customers and investors and Australians reasonably expect?
Thank you, Rita.
I don't think it's appropriate for our chairman to be talking about Optus in this meeting. We are talking about ANZ. I do appreciate your question was broader than that. I actually do think Paul has addressed a number of those issues already in this meeting, but I don't know, Paul, if there's anything you want to add.
Just to add that I think you're conflating two quite different things. And when we talked before at AGMs, the Optus role was in an organisation where the equivalent board to this was actually the Singtel board. I was not a member of that board. My role was largely advisory and to be an escalation point for government issues in Australia. That did change in early 24, and I helped Singtel and Optus set up the local governance prior to stepping off shortly later. So a lot of the issues you raise actually happened under a different governance model.
Yeah, but your role was chairman. Okay, I'll just ask my other quick one. Earlier, Chair, you said that you do get complaints and you do normally follow them up. At last year's AGM, you asked me to email you directly regarding my unresolved matters, which I have done, yet I've received no response. Instead, I was advised by ANZ Customer Resolution that any further correspondence on the matter would be filed without response. Can you explain what governance or escalation process applies when a shareholder follows a direct request from the chair and receives no acknowledgement or response, and how the board satisfies itself that such matters are handled appropriately? Now, in total, there's about 8 or 9 emails that you haven't responded to. I feel like I'm being ghosted, in other words.
Okay, thank you, Rita. So,
could I have a response?
So I did pass on your queries, and I did ask the team to brief me, and the response, which is what you got, was that these issues have already been well examined and ventilated.
No, I've already explained that it was through ANZ management fraudulent documents.
That, which is your view, and
it's
the view of our expert
it's your
team.
Documents.
The expert view of our team is different, and that's why they
Chair,
said, look,
by making that
we have
statement, you're making
exhaustively...
yourself and ANZ complicit in the fraud of my loan and my
Can
matters.
Can I finish answering the question?
Do you not understand that?
Can I finish answering the question, Rita?
Well, can I finish? Because you've been cutting everyone off all day, so please have the decency, because you destroyed our lives. Not just me, not you, ANZ. There has been underhandedness, wrongdoing and fraud within the bank, which we need to do a push to have a Royal Commission, because it's not being investigated, and there are very long-term, long-standing customers who are victims that you refuse to acknowledge or help. I've had shareholders today come up to me today and say, why don't they fix your matter? Why don't they meet with you? Why don't they address what's happened? And I said, well, you go and ask them.
Well, if I can,
and we have to come year after year. So
if I can respond, Rita, I would say I was
here.
sufficiently concerned with your statements that I did ask to be briefed, and I asked them to look at it. The feedback was it has been well examined, well ventilated, that you have actually been through a number of processes And therefore, the response you got was an honest answer from ANZ, which is, we've exhausted all our avenues of inquiry.
Mr. O'Sullivan, you don't
So,
have the facts.
I think-
And it's very rude to cut me off.
So I think you've made,
I've also asked to
there's,
meet with Mr. Matos, and I'm waiting for a response to to that email as well. You were hiding behind fraud, and it is very negligent to not at least meet with me so I can present the actual facts to show you what your bank has done.
So I'm actually going to cut this off now. We have given you an adequate forum. I just have to listen to Paul. If he says he's examined the facts, I know him to be a person that will have examined the facts. And it's not appropriate that we speak about a personal matter. So